Hajj tomorrow. Main rituals start with pilgrims staying in Mina. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina lays foundation of Dashir Kandi sewage system treatment plant. Continuity of the government made developments visible, says Prime Minister. Homebound, crowd, rail, bus and launch terminals. This year's e-journey hassle-free commenced Road Transport and Bridges Minister. Falsifiers and rumor mongers need to be tightly controlled for keeping windows of social media open, says Information Minister. Indian Kerala state government pleads help as century's most devastating flood claims 357 lives so far. And Bangladesh in second round of Asian Games football beating Qatar by solitary goal. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center. I'm Tazrian Ruby Sharno.
And I'm Shamim Khan, welcoming you all. Those were the headlines. We now move on to the news in details. Holy Hajj tomorrow. Over 2 million Muslims from across the world have gathered at Saudi Arabia's Mina to start the Hajj rituals. Chanting Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, pilgrims in the white robes started leaving Makkah early today for Mina, which is about 8 kilometers away. The pilgrims will spend the day and night in Mina before proceeding to Arafat tomorrow morning. The pilgrims will listen to sermons at Arafat Maidan and stay there until sunset. Later, the Musallis will go to Muzdalifah to offer Maghrib and Isha prayers together and collect pebbles. On Tuesday morning, the pilgrims will leave Muzdalifah for Mina to throw pebbles at the Satan. They will relieve Ihram after slaughtering sacrificial animals there. Finally, the pilgrims will go to the Grand Mosque in Makkah for Tawaf al-Ifada. The existing slums in the city would be replaced by multi-story buildings to allow the inhabitants to live in a healthy and better condition. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina announced this today while laying the foundation of Dashir Kandi sewerage treatment plant at a function in the capital this morning. There would be no slums in the city. Rather, 20 storage buildings would be constructed for the slum people where they would live by giving rent on daily, weekly and monthly basis, she said. The Dashir Kandi sewerage treatment plant is being constructed at a cost of about 332 crore taka, the Chinese government support as part of Dhaka Wasa's master plan to bring the city under pipeline sewerage system by 2025. In a speech, the Prime Minister reiterated that the box culverts built illegally in the city, destroying the water drainage system and canals, would be re-excavated if her government comes to power next time. The water canals would be restored and elevated roads would be constructed there for vehicular movement. Sheikh Hasina appreciated the WASA employees for the sincere services to make the public utility body as an effective one during the tenure of a government. However, she urged them to remain alert about those people who create unwarranted trouble in implementing a development project. LGRD Incorporates Minister Khondokar Musharraf Hussain, Senior Secretary of Local Government Division Dr. Jafar Ahmad Khan and Chinese Ambassador to Bangladesh Jun Shou also spoke on the occasion, while Managing Director of Dhaka Wasa Taksim A. Khan gave welcome address. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has provided checks of financial assistance among 18 Gallantry Award recipients, their families and successors. The Prime Minister handed over the checks to the Gallantry Award recipients, their families and successors at a ceremony at Corner Bhavan this afternoon. The checks of financial assistance were given following the application to the Prime Minister at a function on 21st November last, marking the Armed Forces Day at Dhaka Cantonment. The checks were provided to meet the expenses for building house, treatment and education expense of the children, as well as to remove financial insolvency. Meanwhile, at the same venue, Sheikh Hasina received a check of donation on behalf of Shah Jalal Islami Bank to the Prime Minister's Relief and Welfare Fund. Chairman of Shah Jalal Islami Bank, Anwar Hussain Khan, handed over the check to the Prime Minister.
The 22nd session of the 10th Jatiya সংসদ will begin on September 9th. The House will go into its session at 5 p.m. on the day. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid has summoned the session exercising the power bestowed upon him by Article 72(1) of the Constitution. Homebound people are going to their respective villages, homes, to celebrate the Eid al-Adha with their near and dear ones. The bus terminals and railway station in the capital are now crowded with people. Meanwhile, Army League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Abdul Qadir has said BNP is making a blueprint to carry out widespread violence across the country ahead of the forthcoming national polls like it did in 2014. He told this to journalists after visiting Gaptoli bus terminal to see the Eid journey of homebound people today. About the Eid journey, he said the condition of the country's roads and highways is better than before. He hoped that the Eid journey will be comfortable this time. Homebound passengers thronged in thousands at the Kamalapur railway station in Dhaka on the third day of Eid journey on trains. Platforms were packed with homebound passengers, with a large number of them waiting in queues to get standing tickets. A huge number of people were seen also at the Shologhat launch terminal. Meanwhile, the government has taken all preparations to make the Eid journey safe and uninterrupted on the highways. Sacrificial animal markets of the country, including capital Dhaka, are getting momentum as Eid al-Adha comes nearer and people have started buying the sacrificial animals. The two city corporations in Dhaka have set up 20 makeshift cattle markets in the capital this year to facilitate the buying and sale of the sacrificial animals ahead of Eid al-Adha. Dhaka South City Corporation has set up 15 cattle markets, while Dhaka North City Corporation has set up 10 cattle markets. Meanwhile, Fisheries and Livestock Minister Narayan Chandra Chanda visited Kaptoli cattle market. Officials said the country is unlikely to face any shortage of cattle during the Eid al-Adha this year, as the supply of locally reared cattle is quite enough to meet the demand of sacrificial animals. The government has taken adequate security measures for smooth trading of the sacrificial animals in the markets set up in different points in the city. Information Minister Hassanul Haqqinu has said that windows of all social media, including Facebook, will open for all, but those who will spread rumor and propaganda will be checked with an iron hand. He said this while addressing a discussion meeting on rumor on Facebook and role of mass media in the capital today. PIB Director General Shah Alamgir chaired the discussion, which was also addressed by journalists Sood Ishtiaq Reza, Ashish Kumar, Rashid Ahmed and Deep Azad. Hassanul Haqqinu said social media is not a tool for spreading rumor and propaganda. The government has taken zero-tolerance policy to check misuse of the social media, he added.
Now, international news. Rescue efforts are being stepped up in the flood-hit Indian state of Kerala, where monsoon rains have eased for now. More than 357 people have died in the floods. Thousands remain marooned. The Indian Meteorological Department has removed a red weather alert from all districts, though some areas are still underwater. India's Air Force and Navy helicopters are airlifting stranded people from rooftops and dropping food supplies to those they cannot yet reach. Officials said rescue teams are focused on the riverside town of Chenganur, where as many as 5,000 are feared to be trapped. There are fears the situation will worsen in the days to come with more heavy rain forecast. Prime Minister Narendra Modi surveyed the state from the air on Saturday and promised a relief fund of 5 billion Indian rupees. Prime Minister of Pakistan Imran Khan has formed his 20-member cabinet, which is to take oath tomorrow. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI spokesperson Fawad Chaudhry informed mass media that the cabinet consisted of 15 ministers and 5 advisers. Among them, Mohammad Farooq Naseem will get the charge of Law and Judicial Affairs Minister, Shah Mahmood Qureshi will get Foreign Ministry, while Fawad Chaudhry will get the charge of Information, Broadcast and National Tradition Affairs Ministry. Ecuador has brought in new rules to stop Venezuelan migrants entering the country without a passport, leaving many stranded in the neighboring Colombia. Thousands of Venezuelans fleeing the country's economic and political crisis have been crossing into Ecuador from Colombia using only identity cards. Most are heading south to join family members in Peru and Chile. Colombia has protested against the move, saying vulnerable people will be trapped on its side of the border. In a separate incident, residents of a Brazilian town attacked a Venezuelan migrant camp on Saturday and drove the occupants back across the border.
Coming back to news from home. The first Boeing 787-8, known as the Dreamliner, reached Dhaka today as Biman Bangladesh Airlines, the national flag carrier, is set to enter a new era of modern aviation. As landed at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport this afternoon after making an uninterrupted 15-hour flight from Seattle's Boeing factory, the brand new aircraft was received by the blowing of water cannons. The new aircraft was received by Biman's chairman, retired Air Marshal Muhammad Enamul Bari, along with the CEO and members of his board of directors. Enamul Bari told journalists that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is scheduled to inaugurate the first flight of the Dreamliner on September 1st, slated to fly to Kuala Lumpur. She is also credited with coming up with the Dreamliner's name, Akash Bina. The aircraft will initially be used to operate flights from Dhaka to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur in its first month, after which it will be considered for flights to New York and Canada. It will provide its passengers with Wi-Fi services at a height of 43,000 feet, allowing passengers to browse the internet or connect with their friends and family at any end of the world. The 271-seat Boeing 787-8 has been designed to be 20% fuel efficient than the other aircraft. In 2008, Biman Bangladesh Airlines had signed a $2.1 billion agreement with Boeing to purchase 10 new aircraft, of which Sunday's Dreamliner was the 7th. The remaining 3 are slated to join Biman's fleet by November this year and 2 more by next year, September, respectively. Now weather news. A low has formed over Northwest Bay and adjoining area. It is likely to intensify and move in a north-northwesterly direction. Under its influence, steep pressure gradient persists over North Bay and the adjoining areas. Squally weather is likely to affect the maritime ports, North Bay and the adjoining areas, coastal areas of Bangladesh. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Para have been advised to hoist local cautionary signal number 1. I repeat, local cautionary signal number 3. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay have been advised to come close to the coast and proceed with caution till further notice. They are also advised not to venture into the deep sea.
Now news on sports. Bangladesh beat Qatar by 1-0 and reached the second round of Asian Games football event for the first time. The first half of the match ended goalless at the Patriot Chandrabaga Stadium in Jakarta, Indonesia. Captain Jamal Hunia scored the lone goal for Bangladesh at the last moment of the match. Bangladesh qualified to the second round as B Group runner-up with 4 points, while they got 1 victory, 1 draw and 1 loss.
Not a touch, plenty of space, only one thing on his mind, and he got the better.
And now to the bulletin, a recap of the top stories. Millions to chant Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik at Arafah as Holy Hajj tomorrow. Main rituals start with pilgrims staying in Mina. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina lays foundation of Dashir Kandi sewerage treatment plant. Continuity of government made developments visible, says Prime Minister. Homebounds crowd rail, bus and launch terminus. This year's e-journey hassle-free, comments Road Transport and Bridges Minister. Falsifiers and rumor mongers need to be tightly controlled for keeping windows of social media open, says Information Minister. Indian Kerala state government pleads help as century's most devastating flood claims 357 lives so far. And Bangladesh in the second round of Asian Games football, beating Qatar by solitary goal.
Well, that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla news. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.